Hello, everybody. If it's Wednesday, it's Warhammer, and that means it's time for another episode of Warhammer Weekly. So, Tom is not here this week. Joe, I'm going to kill you.
I'm sorry.
Thank you. Joining me this week instead is Joe Cryer, who's going to get killed and never invited back if he keeps beeping. Hi, Joe. Say hello.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Joe has no video, but that's okay. He's just going to be a little bouncing ball, but trust me, it is Joe. And also joining us is Puck. How you doing, buddy? Good to have you.
I'm doing well. I'm very pleased to be here. Thank you so much.
Hey, glad to have you. And the reason we have these two gentlemen on is because they are running a fun little tournament that I want them to talk about here in a little while. And so we're gonna let them deep dive into it, walk you through what's going on, when it's happening, all that sort of thing. As usual, we want to make sure we promote all the events and that kind of thing. So we're gonna get into that. But since I don't have Tom, we're gonna just launch right into the news. So let's get going. Okay. And of course, during today, we're going to talk about some Slaves to Darkness later on. But first off, some news. So let's start out at the beginning. We had our new rumor engine photo. Is everybody ready for the rumor engine photo? Are you prepared? Are you mentally prepared, gentlemen?
Mentally prepared.
All right. Here we go. Prepare to have your mind blown. There we go.
Whoa! Literally
my
being
God.
blown.
Ah, it's puns. Because it's grenades.
I love puns.
Yes. So the
Like trip mine, step mine, maybe.
Yes, they're saying they can't hear us. That's interesting. Huh.
Ooh.
Huh.
Can't hear me or Joe or all of us.
All of us. Oh, okay, good. Some people have sound. All right. Somebody put in the comments if you can hear me. I hope so.
Right.
It looks like I have sound, and I
This
can
is
hear all of
Joe.
you.
Can everybody hear me? This is Joe. Or is this Houston? We have a problem.
No, somebody just said they can hear us fine. Okay. All right, good. All right, we're okay. All right. So maybe it was just a little error at the beginning. All right, fair enough. Continuing on. We're fine. Grenades. So, thoughts, guesses? What is this a giant pack of grenades of? Puck, I know you're a 40K enthusiast. Any thoughts on your side?
Looks like a bunch of melt-a-bombs.
Oh, all right.
Those melts are frag. Those look like frag to me. I don't know. It could be like a marker that I know scouts used to be able to like trap terrain.
So it could be any
trap terrain,
crack or something like that. Probably frag.
Yeah. Like scouts used to be able to booby trap terrain. I remember that happened a couple times. So maybe it's a marker for that. Or maybe it's some idiot's about to just lose his foot. I have no idea.
Do you think that top piece is supposed to attach to something else? Like, is this an attachment onto something?
Like, I hope so, but it looks more like a pile. It doesn't look bound by anything, unless it's like a magnet thing, which I don't know why you'd pull magnet bombs closer to you, but...
Sponsons of grenades. Sure.
Yeah.
We'll go with that. Sponsons of grenades. Grenade sponsons.
There you go. Absolutely. So that way you can just, you put it, I'm seeing you attach it to the front of the vehicle and just boom, just drive right into people. That's what it's for. Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, the Gene Stealer called Rock Goliaths, which me and a buddy own 9 of, don't worry about it, has demo charge caches. So it does do, you just have unlimited grenades if you're next to it, basically.
All right. See, there you go. Thankfully, Tom is not here to present us with some form of like insane conspiracy theory as to why this is an Age of Sigmar model. No, clearly it's 40K. So that's good. We don't have to put up with that this week.
No, it's definitely Space Dwarves. They met up with some...
Exactly. Exactly. That's clearly what it is. I see it as absolutely the return of squats confirmed. There you go. So that's what we've got.
The bubble dwarves became squats. They tripped.
All right.
Oh,
so next up in our news, we've got, I'm sure many people saw this. We've got the return of the path to, or we've got the return, I guess. We've got the upcoming launch, of the Path to Glory. Yeah, that's probably the right way to put it.
And there's an icon. There's an icon on it that people thought was dead.
That's right. So here it is.
It was dead.
Sharing it on the screen. What Joe? would you like to inform people of what these 3 icons are? Do you know all 3 of them?
No, honestly. I just
That's
know
okay.
that Slanesh is coming back.
That's right. So obviously the rightmost one is the Slanesh symbol.
No one. There's an icon in my way on my screen.
Okay. The left is the Fire Slayer, and the center one is Beast Claw, is ogres, is Beast Claw raiders.
Okay, yeah, I've actually never fought against the Fire Slayers, and I've been playing this game since launch, so I don't know if it's either my mistake or you know, I don't know.
No, I think you're not alone. Oh, go ahead, Puck.
Sigmar, so you got me.
Yeah, I mean, what I'll say is, I don't think you're alone, Joe. I think that, you know, unless Kenny Lowell happened to live next to you, nobody played against Fire Slayers because he was like the only human being in the continental United States playing them on the reg. So, and that's probably because they had no start collecting box or an affordable way to get them, right?
And then their points, I hear their points are just garbage until this new book comes out.
Yes, their points were not great. That is very true. But that is all changing. It's a new age for Fire Slayers. So
thanks, Robinetti.
Yeah, absolutely. The rumored content is as follows. So for the Fire Slayers box, we've got the Magmadroth and 10 Volkites. Okay.
It's not bad.
Seems like a great deal, being that the Magmadroth is more expensive than the Start Collecting box on its own.
So, yes, I like free models. All right, we're down.
Sure. The Ogre Box, the Beast Claw, whatever you want to say, these are all rumored. We don't have this confirmed yet, so take this with a grain of salt, as always. But the Ogre contents are supposed to be a like Stonehorn, Thundertusk, you know, a big
$80 model.
Mm-hmm. And then 4 Mournfang.
Oof. That's impressive.
Absolutely. And these are all still at the $85 price point, at least as far as we've heard.
Cheap.
And then, well, especially if you can get them, you know, at some percentage off, which of course is not hard because there are stores that do that.
Right.
The Slanesh is the most interesting to me. So the Slanesh one comes with an Exalted Seeker Chariot, the big one, the big like mega chariot that can actually be built as 2 smaller chariots. By the by,
if you were so inclined,
sure, if you were inclined, 10 Daemonettes and 5 Seekers.
It's also not bad.
Not bad at all. Pretty great, by the way. That starter box is playing dual role because it could also be your 40k starter box for your Demons of Slanesh.
Which also are not bad for those who are wondering.
I will say right now, I greatly enjoy I've played 2 games in 40k with Slanesh Demons, and they are a heck of a lot of fun, especially those Seekers. Those Seekers are crazy.
What do you know? He's making Emperor's Children.
So there you go. To me, those all seem super appealing. I don't care about Fire Slayers, I don't care about ogres. I just mean, like, if you're into those armies, those seem like really good deals.
Yep.
Like, that is some hot discounts on the product there, especially when you figure in then what you can get it for.
Like the Skeleton Horde was nice because for $5 more than the Mortark, you got 10 skeletons and a couple of horses, and now you're getting like double that in value, which is pretty great. Right.
Yeah, I mean, it basically breaks out to you getting the Mournfang. You know, like I think, like somebody had mentioned in the comments, the Stonehorn kit's about, you know, $60 retail ish, a little bit less than. So, you know, for $25, you're getting 4 Mournfang or something. You know, that's a pretty square deal.
Yeah. I like free stuff.
And seeing the Slanesh is awesome. Also because those Exalted Seeker Chariots are kind of hard to find in store. Let me just point that out. Like, most stores don't carry them because they were...
Or even the regular Seeker Chariots, like, which can be built into that without it, but it's still, you know, you don't have the instructions anymore.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So all in all, very, very good getting started sets. I mean, these were clearly, to me, the Fire Slayers one was the most needed. We've asked for it 100 times on this show, and seeing that is good. The Slanesh starter set is fantastic because it says to me, it puts that exactly what you said, Joe, when we started off, like, oh, Slanesh is dead, blah, blah, blah. Nope. He's back, baby. It's ready. It's a new age.
They.
Fire Slayers. Sorry, since I'm not familiar with that unit.
So it's the, your Slayer dwarves, right? So you're going to have the Magmadroth, the big Chinese dragon, and you're going to have the Volkite berserkers, like, your traditional guys, the good ones. That's the short answer.
They're half naked, running around with fire hair, and they like hula dancing on fire with their little dwarven blades. They're just berserkers, but dwarves, basically.
Back in the late 90s, when I first started Warhammer, I did do a Dwarf Army briefly, which I sold for Lehman Russ battle tanks, but that unit wasn't available back then.
No, although there were Slayers. There were still plenty of regular Slayers. So if you remember your old Mohawk Slayers from the 90s.
I do. They were a lot of fun to paint.
Just an army like that.
Yeah, it's an army of those guys who love fire also.
Yes.
That sounds fun. Why does that sound fun?
Because it's just pretty great.
Okay. Hey, Vince, we might have a convert soon.
There you go. Absolutely. Yes. One thing to note, Puck is the TO.
I can't remember me, but yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, I want to note, just so the audience understands, Joe, regular AOS player, has been, Joe and I have met at multiple tournaments now. Puck, not yet an AOS player. Our goal here is to convert him, but he knows 40K, and he's the overall tournament organizer for the whole Renegade Open. So that's why we wanted to have them both on. So just so we understand.
Yep.
So it's our job here to make this so appealing that Puck cannot help himself but run out and get one of these start collecting boxes when they launch.
So if I was going to play AOS, I would probably do the Sky Dwarves, since I used to play dwarves back in the day. So that appeals to me.
You can run the Fire Slayers with them, Puck. So you can bring your Slayers back.
Why do you tempt me, Frodo?
It's working. It's working.
So,
all right.
Real quick, not to interrupt you, but for the Renegade, speaking of Sky Dwarves, we actually decided on and have boxes for the Charity Army, which is going to be the Sky Dwarves.
Nice.
Full 2,000 point list of that. So
it'll be our Charity Army for the Age of Sigmar event.
Yep.
So let's get into that. Let's just
to clarify, it's for Toys or Tots. That is our charity, and we'll be raffling off that army, and all proceeds are going to go to the Marines Toys for Tots charity. And we're hoping to have a Marine representative on hand to receive a large proceed from all of the events, which will also be doing similar stuff for Toys for Tots. So we're hoping to have a big check for them this year.
That is totally awesome. So let's just do this. I want to break in. I want you guys to talk to me about the Renegade Open, as it's one of the reasons I wanted to have you both on the show. So Joe, maybe kick us off and then go over to Paul. And if you guys want to talk about the event, when it is, what you're doing, because it's an awesome event, and it's things like that, what was just mentioned, the charity drive and stuff like that, that I think shows the great spirit of the entire wargaming community. So Joe, if you want to start us off with some detail, then we can both talk through it.
Yeah, so it's November 17th, 18th, and 19th. So 18th and 19th will be the actual AOS tournament dates, and then there'll be a handful of other games and events. I think we're up to 20 games, Puck? Is that about right?
14 games.
14 games. Okay, we're close.
14 different systems that we'll be playing with.
Okay, and then the AOS GT will be a 2,000 point GT. Everyone's pretty standard point number there, but with a 500 point sideboard. That decision was made due to a couple of events I'd been to with and without the sideboard. Sideboards just help armies that aren't up to snuff kind of feel like they can fit in. I feel like, or people who like having the tactical advantage of, it's not my entire army that's changing. It goes, I just need to swap one or two things for this one game to just make me feel better about what's happening. And it plays really well, and people seem to enjoy that. We'll actually have our own mission format, very similar. Some of the missions will be very similar to games people have played in either older fantasy editions, current AOS missions, and then with a couple hybrids of the 40K format. And that the demo packet for that will be coming out in the next couple weeks. We're still getting a little bit more playtesting before we finalize the wording and everything on it. So we get ready to see primary, secondary, and tertiary objectives in AOS, which I think is going to be pretty cool. And then we'll get that straightened out and let you guys play it before the tournament. It's going to be nice. And then, yeah, we're thinking 4 rounds Saturday, 2 rounds Sunday, so 6 rounds of play. We'll let the community decide if they want to go the other way around, I think. But to get people home early on Sunday, probably be doing the 2 games on that one. What was that, Puck?
Oh, I was just saying the reason we do a 4 and the 2 is so that our out-of-state guests have time to get home.
Yes. The question was raised in the comments of where does the Renegade Open take place?
This will be Minneapolis, Minnesota. And then Puck has the actual hotel information.
So we'll be hosting this year at the Crown Plaza Minneapolis West in Plymouth, Minnesota. We have a room block there as well for $95. You can find information on our website at www.renegadeopen.com. So the Renegade is the 17th, 18th, and 19th of November, the week before Thanksgiving, as Joe mentioned. And in addition to Age of Sigmar, we'll be doing Warhammer 40K, we'll be doing X-Wing, we'll be doing Armada, Infinity, Malifaux, Batman miniatures. We just added Imperial Assault. We'll be working on the details for that. All sorts of games. There's 14 different game systems. We'll be doing painting seminars, hobby seminars. We'll have a hobby room so that you can paint your army if you need to beforehand or need something fixed. We're going to have close to probably
use your words, Puck.
We've got a charity armies and charity giveaways that we'll be doing for tots during the entire weekend. We'll have a bits bazaar. So if you're looking for a certain bid or you want to sell your army, we'll be able to have that going on. Very excited. We're in our 5th year for the Renegade. Our first year was 2013. We did a Warhammer 40K tournament. We had 76 show up, and then we added X-Wing at the last minute, so we had 11 players there. So last year, we had 7 game systems and 232 players showed up. So this year, we've doubled the number of games that we're offering, and we're hoping to have about 600 players this weekend. It's going to be pretty awesome.
That is awesome. Yeah, that is a big event. I mean, you guys are starting to border on just might as well open up and make it a whole convention. At
That's
this
what I
point,
told them.
you're on the border, man. You're on the border.
Adepticon, which I'm wearing the lanyard, of course. Adepticon is our model for how we progress, and I know they were at a smaller hotel for a long time before they went to that convention center, and we've got a huge one here in Minneapolis that I hope we'll be moving to in 5 years or less.
I like it. You got the slow grow going on, but that's a good goal. I mean, moving up to 600 players is no small number of players, and I have a feeling. I get the general feeling that you're not going to have a problem filling up like your AOS and your 40K tournaments this year. I think that's going to be some packed to the rafters. That's what I'll say. There's going to be plenty of people.
We're trying. We're going to do 64 for our Age of Sigmar, and we're going to do 96 for our 40K tournament.
And the AOS can expand to 74 if we need to.
Yes, and I hope that it does. I really do. The hotel itself, what's really awesome about it is there's a large amount of space, but they're all smaller rooms, and so all the different events are going to have their own rooms. So you don't have to worry about ambient noise of this tournament or that tournament going on at the same time as yours. So it makes for a very intimate setting in a large tournament. So we're very excited about that.
And if I know my Age of Sigmar players, they get pretty intimate.
All right. Yes. So I will have the link for the Renegade Open down in the show notes. Check it out. If you can get to Minneapolis in November, obviously it's going to be an awesome time. I mean, clearly, no matter what game you are playing, there is something here for you to do. And as was mentioned, plenty of supporting other things as well. So let's help Puck. Let's help Joe. Let's help everybody grow this event. Because, I feel like having another Adepticon in the middle of November would be pretty awesome. I don't see a problem with that. I think it sounds great. Seems a worthy goal to me.
contest as well, sponsored by a local store. So hopefully we'll get some entries for that. Go along with our painting seminars and classes and stuff like that.
Nice. Always, obviously, that's now you've tripped my interest there for sure.
Oh, Vince.
Hey, that's the darkness that I'm a slave to, my friend. See, that's how I'm tying it back in.
What's really cool is that the guy that wants to do the painting contest, he's an ex-Marine, and so he actually knows the Toys for Tots Marines that are doing it, and so he's like, yeah, I can totally hook you up with that. And I'm like, yeah.
That's awesome.
They might even have some of the Marines even play miniature war games, so having them in their dress blues while they're playing some games would be pretty awesome to see.
That's fantastic. I love that. I find that there's one of the true sources of new gamers is usually the military. Like that's where we source a lot of our gamers from.
Yeah.
So, all right. Also, in closer tournament news, this upcoming weekend is Midwest Meltdown here, so that should be good. I look forward to seeing all.
Good luck, everybody.
Yes, indeed.
I'll be playing 40K that weekend. I'm sorry, up in Slaughterhouse GT up in North Dakota, so I'm going the other direction.
Gotcha.
As well.
Nice. Well, I look forward to seeing both of you. I'm going to be following Joe, so I want to see some good. I want to see some good coverage, man. I want to see some good pictures of what's going on there. I want to know how that goes.
I'm only bringing 12 models. It's just a Hardofin. Don't worry about it. It's fine. Everything's fine.
I assume they're running 8th, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. No one's looking back, man. If they are, they're playing Horus Heresy and.
Sure. I hope I don't see any Titans.
I look forward to hearing how the event went. I'm sure it's going to be awesome. All right. So that's kind of all the news. There's not really a lot else going on right now. It's quiet. We had the getting started and stuff like that. We got some tournaments. So like I said, check out Renegade Open. The website is down in the show notes. Go look. If you're anywhere in that area, in that part of the country, or you can make it there, support the event. Support a great group of people and truly something that's growing. And we want to see it continue to do so in the years to come. So
this is its debut AOS event, so we'll want to make it big.
That's right. Let's make it a big one.
I do have to mention that the $55 price for the Age of Sigmar will only be available until August 31st, and it's going to go up to $65 after that. So if you want to get in the good price, you have to get in now.
All right. August 1st, you said?
August 31st.
31st. Okay, there you go.
And
all right.
If you want further information as well, you can reach us on Facebook at the ROGT or on Twitter at the Renegade Open.
Rock and roll. All right, so let's turn to a little pick of the week. Let's share. This is where we share a link or a video or a blog or something like that. Something that you want to share with your audience, which I don't know if I mentioned to both of you in the email, so I might be putting you on the spot. And if I didn't, oops. But that's okay. I'll give you a moment to think about it because I have 2 of them, so I'll go first. I have 2 things I want to share with everybody this week. First off, I want to share a video from our buddy Eric at Mortal Realms from the Mortal Realms podcast.
I like that guy. He's a good
absolutely. Guy. He's a great dude. I look forward to seeing him at Holy Havoc this year. And so he's recently did a video on something he is working on for a narrative for Skirmish. If you're asking, by the way, I saw some people ask how the Skirmish expansion rules are coming that where Tom and I are working on. The answer is please direct those questions to Tom. I finished my work. It's now sitting with Tom. So there you go. He's in the chat.
Not here today.
Well, he's in the chat too. That's what I love. Like Tom's watching and is in the chat, but he could show up. He just couldn't actually join us apparently.
I love you, Tom.
Absolutely. So,
but that's okay.
So he's got the document right now and he's doing some formatting and review and development work on it. So which we got to give him some time. But the point is all the primary work is done. So that's good. Anywho, Mortal Realms is also putting out some interesting narrative-based content called Renown and Ruin. and it has the interesting idea of sort of having renown go up and down and the effects on your warband. It's kind of an interesting little story there. He's got a video on it. The video is linked down in the description. I actually dropped it in before the show because I thought ahead this time.
Nice.
Yeah, I was on the ball today. So the second video I want to recommend, I have two videos today. The second one is from Charlie Chapman, who Charlie has been around in the PMP for a while. He's been, sort of watching videos and commenting for a long time. And he and I have talked many times. And he finally got into the video production world. And he made his first vid. And I will say, for his first video, he made a great first video. He sent me the link and asked me to take a look. And I liked it so much, I said, I'm going to go ahead and make it the pick of the week. So go check it out. The link down there is below. He's talking about Slaanesh in the Age of Sigmar. And he talks about what he likes in Slaanesh models and where the aesthetic in the army could go. And
That's a cool topic.
It is. And I like his discussion. He talks about like the popularity of the Juan Diaz sculpts and how exorbitant they're priced right now. If you want those. So it's a good little discussion. It's only, 6 minutes or so. So it's a short video, but check it out. My advice to him was he had enough interesting content. I want to see him keep talking and talk more. So, dig deeper next time. That's what.
And that's a good thing to do while painting too, is to turn on videos like that and you can just zone out, and all of a sudden 3 hours later you're like, oh, I listened to a whole 3-hour video and I painted like one thing.
Yes, if it weren't for like YouTube and videos, I don't know how I would ever get any painting done because I have to have that kind of background noise. So yes, it's an essential tool. I agree completely. All right, so Joe, now I'm going over to you, buddy. It's your turn. So what would you like to point people toward?
I mean, I've been seeing a lot in the competitive posts that Tzeentch is picking up in popularity, which anybody who knows me knows I definitely approve of.
Yes, you're a big Tzeentch supporter. You support the Lord of Change. It's change you can believe in.
It is change you can. It is true change. It's true, just magic. It's fine. And this wonderful individual that a few of us might know does a really good painting video on Lords of Change's wings. I don't know if anybody has seen Vince's video. Where he paints a bunch of Lord of Change wings. That's probably something that I watch too much at work and then go home and try to replicate, and then it just not showing up the way it's supposed to. So just practice. But yes, it's definitely a good video learning how to paint any sort of wings. So I'd definitely go ahead and check that out.
Oh, yeah, I used that as well when I was painting 3 Lords of Change for Brett Perkins.
There you go. Well, awesome. I'm glad to hear that. So yes, I'll put the link down there for the detailed feathered wings. I know what you're talking about. He's down there in the case. You can see him. He's like right there. See him hanging out behind the Night Titan.
So I noticed his basing. Did he steal Archaon's base, or is he on another base?
He's on a similar. All the big chaos people are on the same sort of castle stuff. It's part of the Bones Dragons Don't Share set.
Yep. Yeah, I have that one. I just like, wait, that looks like the same. I think he stole Archaon's pedestal.
No. They all just have to be tall. The greater demons aren't big enough for my taste, so I've got to put them up on castle walls to make them bigger. That kind of thing. So it's essential. I mean, even let's see, I can reach over and grab her now because she's down here. But even the Keeper of Secrets is still up on part of it, right? They've all got to be on it. That's the trick.
Oh man, if only the thing had more than 10 wounds, right?
Hey, if only. Look, it will eventually. Okay, that's all I'm saying. We'll get our day. I would accept it at 10 wounds if it just slaughtered everything it touched. That's all I ask.
That's fair.
Yeah. I don't mind a glass cannon kipper. I can handle that. If that sword just murders people, then I'm fine with it.
Just make it a scar brand. It's fine.
Yeah, so it's okay. It's fine. I mean, she's got 12 wounds in 40k, so there you go. Okay. So, Puck, what about you, buddy? What would you like to point some people toward?
It doesn't. Can be 40k, right?
Can be anything. Absolutely, whatever you want to share.
Okay, I got 2 things. One is codexes are on the horizon for 8th edition. They're planning to have about 10 codexes by Christmas, and they're going to start with Space Marines. I don't know when exactly that's going to come out, but that's certainly going to change the landscape of the game. it's my hope that they don't overbloat Warhammer 40K again like they have in the past 2 editions. And then the other thing I want to point out is that FAQs for Forge World indexes for Adeptus Astartes and for Chaos have been released by Forge World. So they're fixing typos and they're fixing unit entries and things of that nature.
Nice. There you go. I will put the. I did see that as well. I will put the link out there for people so they can go check it out. There was also the request that went up for the, the Age of Sigmar upcoming FAQ. And I will say that, we mentioned it last week on the show. We talked about it. And as I commented on last week in the topic of the week, a lot of people had commented about it. So there was, basically they said, hey, give us the rules or clarifications you want to see in the next FAQ for Age of Sigmar. And then immediately there was 100 responses of people who clearly did not read the assignment because they just responded and yelled like elves and death at them.
I mean, we are waiting for that. That is true.
Sure. Or talked about like wanting to change turn sequences or stuff like that. I'm like, guys, this is not the assignment. Like the assignment is talk about things you don't understand or rules that you feel need clarification. So either this is, perhaps I'm reading it the wrong way. Maybe what they were saying is the game is perfect. We have no FAQ or need of clarification. We just want you to add stuff to it. Maybe I've been looking at this glass half empty when I should have looked at it glass half full. And that's why they were just rambling on unassociated topics. Yeah.
I mean, I've been on a few of those forum like Facebook pages, and that does happen, right? Like the groups do kind of derail themselves pretty quickly, but
it happens. But I was happy to see that Ben Johnson responded and said that it's okay. People can type in whatever they want, that they will go through and harvest out the actual questions and make sure they are answered, which made me think to myself, thank God that is not my job. Because holy crap. That would probably be, I don't know, man, that's suicide inducing right there. But hey, there you go. So if you haven't yet voiced your opinion, go to the Warhammer community, go ahead to the Warhammer community Facebook for Age of Sigmar and put in your questions or clarifications into the comment. So there you go, because they will get answered. So you don't have to worry about the fact that it's polluted with all that nonsense. They confirmed that your questions will get answered if they are legitimate clarifications or questions. So there you go. That'll be my other pick of the week. I'll link out to the FAQ.
New GWTM. We're kind of a fan.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, indeed. New GWTM. I agree. It's a whole new world. That is for sure. Like, no doubt about that. Yeah. So let's talk about some hobby time. Let's talk about what we're working on. So Joe, you showed me before we started the show when your camera was working there. You showed me what you were working on. You want to tell the audience what you were working on?
Everyone's gonna hate me, but
it's okay, Joe. Everybody who knows you already hates you, Joe. So it's fine. Don't worry.
So these lovely individuals named Tom, Vince, and Rob, you may know from the Warhammer Live community. We're all just hanging out and chatting at Adepticon, and somebody mentioned Zinch, and then they mentioned a change host. And so I kind of thought about it, and then it was mentioned again, and I was like, maybe I should. And then 195 horrors later, my table is covered in about 90 brimstones, about 90 blue horrors, and then 30 pink horrors, and it's just, and like 3 Lords of Change, and I don't know what happened anymore. And I mean, I'm happy, but there's just so many.
I feel it's good that you lean into it. I mean, you got one over on Tom and us with your pink horror spam back in Holy Havoc last year, if you remember, right?
Yeah. My slam dunk. Yeah, you remember that?
Yes, the Archeon slam dunk of like your Archeon summoned pink horrors who summoned pink horrors and grabbed the objective on the other side of the table, which was a genius play to cover the whole board.
Thank you.
It was well executed, my friend. Well executed. I did not see it coming. You shocked us. So I think that you're like horrors are in your heart. You know what I mean? Like clearly.
Oh, it's Zinch forever, man. Anyone who's seen me competitively has seen, my 9 skull crushers and Yeah, so many. Whatever, Puck. You've only whatever. But no, the Tzeentch Skull Crushers and the like scratch built Skyfires before they became a real thing, and like I don't Tzeentch has just always been real close, real close. And so once now that I can actually play them competitively and I don't have to use Skyfires, I'm gonna take it.
Absolutely.
Youngster, do you even know what that quote's from?
I barely heard it, so no, I do not.
Apocalypse Now. Ahora. Ahora.
Yes, yes, indeed. All right, so Puck, what about you, buddy? What are you working on, man? What's on your table?
The Three Lords of War were on my table for a good couple weeks. It was a real challenge because I have two cats, and one of them is very interested in what I'm doing, and so he's constantly hopping up on the table, and I'm constantly picking him up and putting him down, so it's hard to paint that way. But since I was also preparing for the Slaughterhouse GT coming up next weekend, I've had to paint 60 conscripts. That's fun. Batch painting IG infantry squads is bad enough, but if you got to do 60 guys the same way, oh, that really, really sucks. What I had to do is I've got a squad of 30 and a squad of 31, and to make sure I tell them apart, I put a red stripe on one shoulder and a blue stripe on another shoulder, so I could tell the different squads apart. Fortunately for me, my Imperial Guard army is already mostly painted, at least enough that I can just go, okay, I need this unit, I need that unit. Oh, this unit needs to be repaired.
It's pretty extensive. It's pretty extensive.
So I really don't have to worry about too much. But I didn't have conscripts because I never played them in last edition. So I've had to paint those. Right now I'm down to basing them tonight and maybe tomorrow, and I'll be done.
Nice. IG was my army back in my old 40K days before this 8th edition sort of resurrection. And I grew to hate them with the fire of 1,000 suns as I painted my way through the infantry. Although I will say I did love painting all the tanks. That was always very fun. Tanks are fun.
I've got a really simple recipe for tanks, and it has won me a best painted at a local RTT before. So here we go. You prime it black, and I use Krylon Indoor Outdoor black, and then I use Krylon Indoor Outdoor gray primer. And then I dry brush that primer because it's still paint, still color. Then I add decals and I paint details, and you're done. And it's that simple. And I've actually had a player get mad at me because he didn't realize how simple my scheme was for my tanks. And everyone's like, "Oh my God, these tanks are amazing!" I'm like, it's simple. So I've won best painted with a primer army. Word.
That makes Vince cry. That makes Vince cry a little bit.
It does hurt my soul a little, but that's okay. That's all right. Hey, if it works for you, then it's the right answer.
I'll tell you, but none of my models are available with me right now, so I can't.
That's okay.
Joe, what do you think, Joe?
I think they're not bad, but if you take a look at Vince's stuff, you'll understand why he's crying a little bit on the inside.
No, look, hey, I support.
I don't use an airbrush ever, so I can't. Everything's all brush. Even painting World of War and painting my Imperial Knights, it was all brush.
Sure. Here's what I support more than anything: fighting the war against the gray. So anything that gets paint on a model and gets it on the table, so you're playing it, that makes me happy. So that overwhelms any amount of sadness I might have. Everybody, as long as you're painting your model and you're happy with it, then I'm happy with that too.
There actually is another. There's one more hobby video that popped up. Speaking of which, there was a war against the gray video.
Okay.
If you saw that, I forget what podcast did it. If anyone in the comments has seen it, please link it. But it's some webpage was like, hey, did it like the sad puppy that are abused commercial music to, but it was the war against the gray models that you could one model a day and you could have that the gray army gone forever in your life, and it was pretty. I
linked it on our Facebook page. You can find it there for sure.
There we go.
Nice. I'll look that up. I'll if I can find it, I'll throw it down in the show notes because I'm definitely interested. So it has like the Sarah McLachlan music in the background type of thing, and it just panning over sad gray models.
Yep.
We are unused and unpainted in closets everywhere. One model a day, you can put that painted model on the table. It was brilliant.
Nice. I like it. For my own personal hobby time, I am working on another 3-pack of my female blood crushers for my all-girl blood crusher army. They're almost done. I'm just putting the finishing touches on the last girl. And the sort of leader of the unit / probably a champion will be this girl right here, which is this particular like damsel or whatever she is. I don't know. I really like her though. She's one of my favorite damsels of all time. So she's going to be sitting on the back of a blood crusher here.
Wait,
it's all done. There you go.
Vince, does this mean that you have more skull crushers than I do now?
I don't think so. I mean, I've got like 18 I've got 18 crushers, but only 9 of them are painted. So,
okay, because I've got 33, including the demons.
Then you definitely have more than me. Right? So yes, but I love this model, and then the other ones are sort of just converted. There's the other girls. The other 2 are the same, but they're using the Daemonette heads. So there you go. That's what I'm working on. Also, this last weekend, I played at Buckeye Battles. So I had 5 games of Ninth Age this last weekend. Once Bitten and Skaven and AZ came up along with their buddy Shannon, who I didn't realize I had seen his Shannon's wife is a miniature painter of fair renown, and I knew her work. She's a freaking great painter, so it was cool to see Shannon again. And we got 5 good games, Ninth Age in Buckeye Battles. If you're a Ninth Age player, you should be supporting Buckeye Battles. It's probably the best Ninth Age tournament in the country. It had 102 players, which is amazing. It was extremely well run, efficient, great people. Saw Chai Hammer there and his brother. Just ran into everybody, ran into so many great people. So it was good to see everybody. Good to catch up, good to play some games, and so it was a lot of fun. Overall, it happens in Ohio, basically just north of Columbus, and it happens every year around this time. So if you're a Ninth Age player, hey, don't miss it next year. There you go. But he's also got Jeff, who runs the tournament, Jeff Parkhurst, also has another tournament coming up not too long away called Strength in Numbers, which is like an ETC style 4-player thing. So if you're a Ninth Age player and you're going to be in the area, this one takes place up in Toledo, Ohio. So check it out. It's called Strength in Numbers. I'll throw a link down there for anybody who's interested. All right. Once I finish up these crushers, the other thing that's been taking up my hobby time is compiling all the voting for the painting competition, for the PMP first annual painting competition. So I'll have that wrapped up this weekend. And then we'll move on to doing some awards. So I'm excited for that, to see who the winners are. So busily compiling feedback and scores. I'm trying to take a lot of time with each review because I want to make sure I give everybody their due. Yeah, there's a lot on the docket. But let's pivot now and let's have a little discussion on some Slaves to Darkness. So Joe, it's being that Puck isn't a regular player, I think we're going to be leading this. But of course, if we can sell Puck on this too. You know what I mean? We can get him in. So
all right, let's do this. Sell me, Sigmar. Go.
All right. So obviously, Slaves to Darkness is
the classic Chaos Warriors, Marauders, yes. Horsemen.
I love that we both went for the same thing. It's like Chaos Classic. Okay. So. Yes, exactly. So it's got yes, exactly. Chaos Warriors, Marauders, Chaos Knights, all the classic stuff. And it's a personal favorite of mine. I've done a lot of Chaos Warriors, a lot of Chaos Knights over time. I like them a lot. I think they're great models. I especially have a deep love in my heart for Chaos Knights. I think they just look beautiful.
They have always been a beautiful model and beautiful kit. That is for sure.
Yeah. They're so individual, you know what I mean? Like there's so many good options in that kit. They all look so different. Yeah, absolutely. Just like the different shields, the different helms, the way the horses look different. And everyone just has like such a personality about it. So it's one of my more favorite sort of armies because it has that classic, to me, it has what I think of when I think of Chaos, right? That big, heavy armored, dark warrior. When I think back to my first interactions with, Chaos, it wasn't through Warhammer. It was through like Hero Quest, right? And Battle Masters and stuff like that. And the Chaos Warrior was such a brutal killer in Hero Quest. Like that dude was a murderer. And so I think back to stuff like that. So it's been a long love affair with them. So I thought today we'd do a little best and worst. Maybe, you know, you talk about what, you know, so we're going to pick one of each, Joe. Okay. And you're going to talk about what you think is your best and what you think is your worst for the categories that I sent out. Okay.
All right.
How about I'll judge it. I'll say what I think.
Well, I do actually, Puck, for you, I did actually have one for you that Mr. Tom might agree with. Is Marauders. Seeing as you're a guard player, the Marauders just being bodies and bodies and bodies, and they can do a little bit of everything. They can survive a little bit, they can do damage a little bit, and they just do their thing. They objective cap, you know, they just either sit around or they're aggressive. It's kind of up to you and how you want to play them. I think that would probably be your favorite Slaves of Darkness unit would just be the basic Marauder bros.
Yeah, other advantage, I don't know what you like in Imperial Guard, but if you like catechins, so if you like buff dudes, Marauders, much like the catechins, very just shirtless buff dudes.
And they got leather straps. They love straps. Depending on
yeah. I know. I mean, like the Marauders hit the gym. They did not they're working the muscles. I don't know. I was going to say a muscle name, but I couldn't think of anything. Delts. That's a thing. It's probably in your legs. I don't know anything about muscles. All right.
Pecs.
There you go. Pecs. Yeah, sure.
They do actually work the pecs.
There you go. Yes. All right.
All right. So my favorite and least favorite, is that what we're going with?
Yeah, exactly. Yes. And why you think why they are your favorite. So let's start out with just kind of the hero type models, right? All of the different commanders. There's actually a pretty good selection here. So what's your pick for your favorite, your least favorite, your best, your worst, etc.?
So I gotta be super cliche, but from the beginning and ever since until his points go skyrocket to the roof is Sail the Faithless, hands down, probably one of the most clutch chaos characters that they have for Slaves of Darkness. So, and his pet, you gotta keep his pet. If you don't have his pet, you're not playing Sail. So that's all I have to say about him.
Nice. So you're supporting the full pack. It's got to be
full pack. Yeah, man. That like Nightmaw is no joke, and you can have a couple of them if you want, and it just keeps them alive.
Sure.
If you're clutching on Sail, you need his pet. That's just hands down what you need.
Let me say this: when I see somebody set up Sail, if they set up Nightmaw, I'm suddenly like, I'm fine with this, right? If it's just Sail, I'm like, you're beardy. But if it's Sail and Nightmaw, I'm like, nope, you're cool, man. We're cool, bro.
That was my Adepticon list, man. That was my Adepticon list. I put Nightmaw on the table, Nightmaw and Sail Nightmaw next to a shrine, and that dude is never gonna die.
Yeah, I just like, did we just become friends? Because that's what happened if you set down Nightmaw right there.
Yep. So I don't know, man. Worst. I've heard, not to bash on the unit that we just talked about, but the Chaos Knights, man, they became an anvil. They used to be, like previous editions, used to be super aggressive, and recently in the more recent editions, I've just seen them become an anvil. You know, like, which is not bad to have a mobile, like hard to kill unit, but from what the terrifying monster that they used to be to a brick, right? You know, it's not as impressive as they used to be.
Sure. Is there a particular leader that you find horribly underwhelming?
Ooh,
I've got a suggestion.
Yeah.
How about the Chaos Lord on Manticore?
Oof. Yeah. Has he ever been impressive, even in previous editions? Man, I fought him once. I did fight him once at a Holy Wars, and my Corn Lord on Jugger and him just duked it out in the most epic fight ever on the Dark Elf table. If anyone has been to Holy Wars is listening, then that Dark Elf table where there's a big challenge on the top of a hill, that happens. Yep. But he's on a Manticore. Why couldn't he deal with the Juggernaut? I don't know. I don't know what happened. But he just sat there.
Yes, the complete lack of rend, more or less. I mean, he does have one attack out of his whole profile that has a rend of -1. Woohoo! Look out for this guy. It's
going into Seraphon, like you just
exactly
not happy.
The dude just bounces way too easy. Like he gets the rubber lance syndrome, right? Because he has just no AP. Yep. And my issue with him is I love the model. Like I just did another Chaos Lord on Manticore for my Slaanesh army. He's like down in there.
Him.
Yeah. And I don't like. I love the model. I just wish. Now, I will say during at NashCon, I ran one, and I ran him as part of the Fatesworn Battalion. Okay, where you got to have like
good things.
Yes, you got to have 10 units, include. Let's say you got to have like a hero and then 9 other units, sense for the Z or for this Zinch number, right?
Mm-hmm.
And everybody in the army like every rend of in the army, like of hash
Dash,
slash
yep.
whatever dash becomes 1.
That's not bad. That's pretty brutal.
He was a lot better. It's weird how if you take him and just move all his attacks up to Renegade 1, how much better he gets. That being said, he was completely overshadowed by the by my pick for best, which is the Chaos Lord on Demonic Mount. This guy's my champion. Okay, first of all, I love the model. It's like a super Chaos Knight, right? Like it has all the glory of the Chaos Knight, but it's even bigger and more imposing.
Yeah, that imposing is the right word for him for sure.
Yes, thumbs up there. Secondly, this dude, especially if he's marked Zinch, hard as a rock. Talking about a 7 wound model, base 4-up save, re-rollable saving throws for free if you're Zinch marked, right? And he's got the 5/6 mortal wound ignore. Okay, so that like like
Chaos Shield.
Yeah, the Chaos Shield standard thing, which is great. So he's not only is his normal armor tough, but he's got some mortal wound protection, so solid. And in addition, you mentioned the Chaos Knight letdown, which I agree in the normal terms. However, the Chaos Lord, his command ability gives Chaos Knights within 50, like you get to pick a unit of Chaos Knights within 15 inches. It lets you re-roll charge for them and adds 1 to hit. So he pushes the whole Chaos Knights to 2-up.
That's and then if they're all -1,
exactly,
super good.
Exactly. Suddenly you've got a bunch of -1 rending Chaos Knights. By the way, that's on their ponies too. Like that -1 rend applies to the pony kicks.
Why are the ponies always better?
Yes.
I don't understand neg rend. Tell me what that's about.
They're the AP. Think AP. AP and
Yep,
rend are the
AP
same
1.
thing.
Got it.
So, yes. So going from no AP or no AP, no rend to 1 on those knights who already have a lot of attacks, right? The problem is that it's just hard for them to punch through anything.
Right.
But moving into as part of that Fatesworn, you give them like these two in combination in the Fatesworn are just brutal because suddenly all those ponies are kicking at -1, the knights are hitting all those times at -1. It gets gross fast.
And then sails in there, so the horses are going to get wherever they want to.
Yes. There you go. So, like, yeah, I mean, an 18-inch, flying him around 18 inches, and then he'd be extra. Like, you'd have to take him on top of the Fatesworn, which is a big army. Because the problem is you got to fit 10 units that all have to be marked Zinch, right?
Oh, okay, they have to be marked. Okay, that's important.
Yes, you could do it. Don't get me wrong, you can fit it in. Okay, yeah. It's gonna be tough because the Fatesworn,
Marauders are cheap.
Marauders are cheap, baby. Marauders are the key. Marauders are the key because they let you play with those points all over the place. And by the way, did I mention those Marauders are all -1 rend now in that warband? Mm-hmm. Brutal.
Vince, I need to talk to you more often, man.
They mess some dudes up. So yeah, Chaos Lord on Demonic Mount is my pick. I got to go with the Chaos Lord on Manticore for my big loser. I wish he was better. The other heroes are generally inoffensive. Like, it's not that I'm a huge fan of like the Exalted hero of Chaos who can be marked Zinch or whatever. You know, he can be marked whatever. He's fine enough. He's unimpressive, but he's inoffensive because he's so cheap.
Right, he's cheap, and on like 3 places of power, you just run him up there and you forget about him. Like, and he's cheap enough to do so.
Yes, I had him in that Fatesworn army, and that's what he did. Right, he was just like a dude who would be there for like that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? And that's what he did. He actually, in 3 places of power, he was a hero that held one of the points the whole game because the whole army was fighting elsewhere, and he just stood there like, I am exalted. And no one came and fought him, but he was very imposing. He looked very scary. But yeah, exactly. He's so cheap. Whereas the problem is the that Lord on Manticore is like too expensive. You know what I mean? Like he's up too much of a chunk of your army being put on something to do nothing.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about some best and worst in the units. You mentioned the Chaos Knights, which I agree, without the right synergies, they're underwhelming. They rubber lance too easy, right? Where they'll just like hit and bounce.
Yep.
All right. But what's your pick for who's your besties? Who do you love?
Skull Crushers don't count anymore. That's
They
lame.
do not.
I'd say Varangard, but they're, you know, they have their point sync problem. For best, honestly, I'd have to say the Shrine. The Shrine is probably my ace go-to Slaves of Darkness unit, just because it's so versatile. Even if you pick a mark, even with the picked mark, if you still are running Mortals of Chaos, it's just a phenomenal unit to take.
What does a Shrine do?
So the War Shrine broadcasts a bubble around it of a 6-up, effectively like ward save, right? Like damage prevention save. Anytime you take a wound, you roll a die on a 6, it negates it. So that's great to all mortal chaos stuff around it. It's a big old bubble too. 9
inches on one of the big monster ovals, so it's huge.
It is. Like it's on like like the giant oval. It also has some kind of spell it can cast. What exactly or prayer. Spell is the wrong word. It has like a prayer it can do. What prayer it does depends on what god it's marked to, if any. My particular favorite, shocker of shocker, is the Tzeentch, which gives you reroll all armor saves. So you can get, you know, like a hard group of Chaos Warriors suddenly having, you know, stackable save on top of stackable save and rerolling their armor saves. They become like Tzeentch Chaos Warriors become, with that shrine around, become
just a brick.
Unbreakable, right? Because even mortal wounds, they have like multiple successive shields against. So it becomes very, very hard to get through them.
And they're 2 wounds apiece. They're just a solid brick.
Yep. What'd you say, Puck?
I was going to say, if they protect against mortal wounds, that sounds pretty awesome right there.
Yeah, 5-up, 6-up, 6-up, baby.
Yep.
They're no joke.
Exactly. So it's that ability to shrug off that kind of damage. So yes, I agree with the Shrine, and I'll throw in my best. My best's got to go to Chaos Warriors. Good old-fashioned Chaos Warriors. I love them to death. They are hard as a rock. They are one of the best like wound ratios in the game, right? Like they're not as good as like Savage Orcs, don't get me wrong, but Savage Orcs also die a lot easier, right?
Yeah.
But at 10 models, 20 wounds, 180 points, perfectly reasonable, especially when you calculate in the protections they have. Base 4-up, very easy to get to reroll ones and or reroll all saves. You know, they can do enough damage. They're not great offensively, but they do what they need to.
And when when most of the missions are set on objectives for the most models, you just pile these guys on there and you go, well, you can't get within 6, so I guess I have the most.
Yep, and you're never going to clear these bodies off, right? Like, good luck. Yep. They are just one of the best anvils in the game. They're very hard to move. Like, I think realistically only Stormcast have similar, you know, anvils, but the problem is their anvils don't have the mortal wound protection, right?
My Tzeentch knows this all too well.
Like, Stormcast can get the same save potential, but they can't shield themselves from the mortal wound, which is why ultimately Chaos Warriors are my fave. Plus, classic sculpts, you've got to admit, Chaos Warriors, again, it's that like aesthetically, I love them. They just look even
imposing.
Yeah. Even though they're like almost monopose, really, right? Yeah. How they all just stand there. Yeah. It's never bothered me. I've never felt the need that they should be like, you know, Black Orcs, the old Black Orc kit where they're like, you know, all like crazy. All over the place. I've never had that need. Like, it's almost like they're more imposing because they look so uniform
and stoic. Right? They're just stoic, which is how they act in the fluff too.
Yeah. I will also point out, very easy to like convert, put other heads on. As you know, all my Chaos Warriors have Stormcast heads because I have the like faceless of Tzeentch, that kind of thing. Yep. So yeah, I'm a big fan. I do love them up and down. I would give, you know, if Tom was here, he would be talking up and praising the power of the Marauder. I think people underestimate Marauders. Most people think Marauders are junk until they see Tom run Marauders.
Tom is ace at running that unit.
Tom's bad, right? Let's just have Tom just type it out. We'll read it word for word. Chaos are apparently the best unit ever. Well, that's clearly.
Exactly. You know, the Marauders, the thing with them is they're so cheap at what you get for the bodies. They're great objective holders. They can easily fill out rosters. They can do surprising damage and be surprisingly mobile with the right synergies. I've seen so many people say Marauders are crap, Marauders are crap, Marauders are crap, and then they play Tom and they're like, never mind, Marauders are good. It's literally that fast. Like, he converts people he plays because he has just smacked people around with Marauders. And
well, his Adepticon list was like what, 27 Chaos Warriors or 28 Chaos Warriors, and then 28 Marauders, and he just had Sail throw them around with a Nurgle formation, and they just sat there, and they're just like, you're never gonna kill us, and then we're just gonna reflect damage and just never take damage. And oh, by the way, I'm 30 models, so I take this objective too.
yes, that is more or less exactly how it went down. You are correct. That was an excellent summation of all of Tom's games right there.
I didn't even play him, but that was just the census of what happened. They just landed somewhere and they just sat there and then they just never moved.
Yep, that's pretty accurate. You got it. That is correct. For my worst, I've got to give a special shout out to what in my mind is one of the biggest crimes that happened in the Slaves to Darkness, and maybe in AOS in total. There is a black sheep in the Slaves to Darkness, and they are so horrible that they make me angry. Okay?
All right.
And that is Chosen.
Oh, yes. Thank you. I was like, where are you going with this? But yeah, like Chosen when AOS first came out, don't get me wrong, when AOS first came out, like, oh, they're 2 damage apiece, they're rend 1, 3 wounds a model, like they're really
whoa. 2 wounds a model.
Are they back to 2? Are they 2? Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, they were good at first, and then just I've seen some synergy with it where they were good, but at the same time, man, those models are too pretty to be sitting on a shelf.
Exactly. These are gorgeous models. I love the Chosen, and they are a hot, steaming pile of garbage. You get 5 of them for like 200 points, and they have 10 wounds. You know, there's no way they make that up. They have no extra special protections. They don't have, you know, like the Chaos Shields or anything like that. They don't do anything that great as far as attacking goes. I mean, yeah, they're like 3-up with a -1 rend. Okay.
Maybe 2 damage, cool. I think.
It's 1 damage, and then it becomes the Great Axe that they have. If you roll a 6, inflicts a mortal wound instead of its normal damage. Not in addition to, instead of.
Fantastic.
Yeah. They can buff other Slaves to Darkness if like basically if they kill somebody, then other Slaves to Darkness in your army within 8 inches you know, get to reroll failed wound rolls, which is cool. The problem is it requires you to kill somebody with these pieces of crap. And like they're not going to be long for the world. So all in all, they're just a total letdown.
So maybe with my favorite combo of the Corn Shrine, the Juggerlord of Corn, and Sail the Faithless, maybe they will kill something and then bubble their effect. But probably not.
Right. To me, they need they need a heck of a points adjustment. I'm fine with them having these rules if they cost like 100 points. You know what I mean? Like if they were halved in cost, I'd be like, okay, now we're getting somewhere, because they are just a hot pile of trash right now. So yeah.
Tell us how you really feel.
I would say I'm not a fan. If I had to summarize, I'd say, yeah, negative, nonplussed. All right, so let's talk about some battalions here. We'll close this out talking about some battalions. So do you have any particular battalions that you like with this, Joe?
Honestly, so if anyone played me in competitive AOS before the Chain Shows arrived,
nope, we lost him.
Oh,
He's gone. All right, he'll come back, I'm sure, in a minute. That happens. So I will talk. Indeed. So I already mentioned the one battalion I like, which is the Fatesworn. Obviously, and that's the thing. So all the gods have a unit-aligned battalion. That is to say, like the Fatesworn, the Plague Touched, etc. Pleasure Seekers. And each one of them requires you have a number of units, sort of total, plus a hero, but equal to the Chaos God's number. So, like,
that sounds fluffy.
it is. It's very fluffy. Oh, is he back?
There we go. I'm back.
Hey, you're back. So, we have video too. Hey, Joe.
Oh, there we go. What up, guys? How you doing?
See, Joe is here.
I am here. I'm alive and well. So I don't know where I cut off.
Just start over talking about battalions. Go ahead. I'll let you get back.
So in my competitive AOS career so far, there was actually like a no formation with my Slaves of Darkness. I was running a little bit of Khorne, a little bit of Skaven, a little bit of Tzeentch, a little bit of nothing with still the Faithless and all that. And I don't know. I never really picked up too much on their detachments. I looked at a couple of the Ever Chosen ones to see if that was going to be good or it would be fun or anything, but they're just too expensive. With Varangard being, troops or whatever, a little bit too much. Archaon being so expensive, of course. Watching, I think Tom's favorite Nurgle detachment from them.
Yeah, the Plague Touched
is probably what best ones that I've seen for the Slaves of Darkness for sure, hands down.
Yeah, to me that's what I was saying. Like I love almost all of the main battalions that match to the gods, right? So like the Tzeentch battalion that's like 9 units in the Lord, the Nurgle is 8 in the Lord, the Khorne is 7 in the Lord, and the Slaanesh is 6 in the Lord. Okay. So, and the Plague Touch, I think, is really good. I think the Fatesworn is amazing if you can make it work, if you can fit all of it in. And I think that the Khorne one is pretty good. It's okay. It's not bad. It's pretty good. The Slaanesh one is trash. Just trash. It's so insulting. It's just like, I don't know who wrote that or what they were smoking when they wrote it. And it's a shame because it'd be the one that would be the easiest to do, right? Because it only requires 6 other units. It does nothing. Like literally nothing. It affects like pile-in distance, and that's about it.
Which like when people were confused about pile-ins,
I'm sorry. Oh, let me switch that, by the way. I said I switched Nurgle and Khorne. Sorry, Khorne 8 units, Nurgle 7 units. Sorry, I was just rethinking them quickly and I switched them around. Thank you. Please go ahead.
When the whole how to pile in was confusing, that would make sense with like the larger pile in move, like with Skin Wolves getting their 6-inch pile in move. It's cool, it's fine, but we have to go towards the closest model and the pack's 30 dudes big, and you're like, okay, well, I guess I just get closest to this guy. It's not as impressive.
Right. Somebody asked where are these? They're in Everchosen. So they were in the Everchosen book, but they do have points. So there's
and a couple of them are in the big book.
Yeah, a couple of them. Yep. But like the Fatesworn, the Plague Touch, Pleasure Bound, I think they're all in the Everchosen book. But they're also in the app and stuff like that. But if you look under Everchosen in the app, you'll see them. So the other one that I really enjoy, it again comes out of the big Grand Alliance Chaos book, is the what is it called? Like the Godsworn Champions of Ruin. Yeah, that's the one. It's got my main man in charge. It's got some good options for leadership. You can have like a Demon Prince, a Tzeentch Demon Prince with phantasmal weapons. Renegade 3, I dig it. So just saying, pretty good. And the ability
gross.
that it is gross. It will cut right through you, baby. The ability of it is rather interesting in that your units from the Godsworn Champions, which are like really, really all the classic Slaves of Darkness stuff. Like your hero is exactly what you'd want, and then the basic units are like 3 to 8 of like Chaos Warriors and Chaos Knights and crap like that. Like, okay, great, super cool, the stuff I'm gonna have anyways. if anybody in there is in combat with a hero or a monster during your hero phase, you get an extra.
They just hate them.
Yeah, you just get an extra pile in and attack on them. Extra pile in and attacking for free during the hero phase. Thumbs up.
Corn would agree. Agree. It's pretty big.
And the nice part is it's a cheap battalion too. If I want to say it's like 60 points off the top of my head. I don't have it right in front of me, but
it's not bad.
No, it's not. Like, part of the problem with the Overlords ones, like the Fates one and stuff, is they're pretty expensive. They're a good chunk of change. But this one you can just throw in. It probably contains the units you were going to use anyways, and multiple times during the game, you're just going to get free attacks during your hero phase.
Right. Or I mean, on the same thing, if someone's new getting into AOS back from 7th or 8th edition or what have you, and all they have is Chaos Warriors and Marauders and Hero Champions, all of a sudden you're like, oh, I just eat people with these models that used to be garbage. Because I don't remember the last time I ever saw Chaos Warriors on the table in 8th edition fantasy, but like, they're good, right? And all of a sudden they get to activate it twice. It's really good.
What'd you say?
I said, well, you're gonna, Joe, because I'm gonna play him. No, I have no idea. Maybe.
Oh, we're this close. We almost had him. All right. No, so those are my battalion picks. There's, like I said, worst. I already mentioned my worst. It's the Slaanesh thing, and it drives me bonkers because I want the Slaanesh thing to work so bad. Fingers crossed for the allegiance abilities, which we know are coming for the Slaanesh. So I've got.
Dude, they're gonna be so fast. Are you kidding? It's gonna be a problem.
I'm excited. I've got 5 Seekers of Slaanesh in the old Juan Diaz sculpt Seekers. I've got 5 of them in a purple power bath right now. We're just stoking off some old crappy primer, waiting to be to reemerge into the world, so I can use them in both 40K and as part of the new Allegiance in AOS. I'm excited. I feel like
I did
so much.
I did buy a set. Yeah, it's gonna be crazy, man. I bought a set too when they did the rerun.
Mm-hmm.
So I got an unopened box. Maybe we can work something out. I don't know. I'm just saying.
Ooh, there you go.
No, I don't know. Might keep those. They are pretty models, but no, yeah, their Legion's abilities are going to be no joke. Coming off of Tzeentch and Khorne's Legion's abilities, like it's going to be a scary thing when you got all these Exalted Secret Chariots and the Hell Flayers. Oh God, they're going to running around.
I would love it if my Allegiance ability was just the normal ability of Piercing Claws out of 40K. Like when you roll a 6 to wound, your Ren becomes -4. Like, that's all I want. That's all I'm asking for. It seems completely reasonable. Just
I run 190 Horrors, and I still don't want this to happen.
I'd never cut through that. Like, just too many bodies. You don't need armor. You just got bodies.
I don't have armor. Like the Brims have nothing. The fucking Blues have a 6-up, and the Pinks have a 5-up, and then at best my bird is 4.
Do you hear that? It's the smallest violin in the world. It's playing. I don't care.
For some reason, I feel like David Armand would be agreeing with you there, Puck. David Armand being the other head TO of Renegade as well. So.
Yes. People who spam horrors and Lords of Change don't get pity, Joe. That's how it works. I
don't spam Lords of Change. There's only one.
I'm sure there'll be more. That's how it starts, Joe. It starts with 1, but there's always more.
I own 13. But I'm playing with 1.
Sure. All right. So I think that more or less covers what we wanted to talk about with Slaves to Darkness. The point of it being, for me, I've run a lot of Slaves to Darkness since AOS, and it's like Tzeentch, Slaves to Darkness have been really one of my go-to armies. I've used them in a couple different tournaments. I've used them in a lot of different games, and I've always really had fun with them in a way that I
remember that pack of warriors at Holy Havoc. That was
man. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they are in a place that I'm not sure they've ever been, before. And they're great models. They're classic models. They've got the spirit of chaos, and they're probably better than they've ever been. And there are very competitive lists you can make with them if you just, sort of hunt up the synergies. You have to look a little harder, dig a little deeper, right, than you might have to otherwise. And the point being is that with the Khorne release and the Tzeentch release and the upcoming Slanesh abilities, guess what? All of those abilities that are in there work with Slaves to Darkness because you can mark them all to that god and then satisfy it. So you can use their allegiance abilities. So
the only thing I am sad about Slaves to Darkness not getting is markable Varangard before the game starts. Because then you would see a ton of those models on the table. Oh man, would it be gross.
Yep. Well, we need to add some more ability to keyword stuff appropriately. Like several people have been talking about the Chaos Giants in the comments, and I've always had a soft spot for like Chaos Giants and Chaos Ogres and stuff. I would love to see us be able to mark those things again, right? To be able to slap the mark of Zinj or Khorne on a Chaos Giant and turn him loose. Like, that would be great. So I want to see more of that.
Or to see who finally was the original corruptor of the Dragon Ogres, man. That Battle Allegiance.
Dragon Ogre models. I love them. I got it. Love them.
You can make an army of only Dragon Ogres.
Yeah, funny you mentioned that. So this was something I won at Buckeye Battles this last week, which is Skay Rock or whatever from Mears Miniatures, which is this big Dragon Ogre guy thing. I'm pretty excited about that. Look at that dude. He's huge. This guy's real big. And I'm pretty excited about him. This is going to be a big, like, Dragon Ogre Shaggoth something model. I don't know what I'm going to use him for, but I freaking love him.
I lost video of you. I can only see Joe. I can't see your Dragon Ogre.
Oh, well, he looks... Imagine in your head a really cool Dragon Ogre. There you go. And
I'm already done.
Do you or anybody listening remember Kolek the Sun Eater?
Of course. Of course I remember Kolek the Sun Eater, yes.
Shaggoth character. Oh,
yeah, man, the name Shaggoth, who, like, during probably 6th or 7th edition, one of those editions was just unkillable and destroyed my entire army because I had nothing that could wound him. It had to be back in, like, whenever there was a time in Warhammer history when the strength chart and toughness chart had dashes.
It was at least 7.
It had dashes. It didn't go to 6s straight out. So, like, things that were toughness 8 or higher couldn't be wounded by strength 3 things. And that guy was toughness 8. And I had an army that was all strength 3 people. And I mean,
everybody in fantasy was strength 3, like elves,
sure,
Skaven, goblins, like a little bit of everything. So all of a sudden, toughness 8 models walking around, and you're like, oh, nothing can touch it. Oh, and it's immune to lightning. So thanks, Skaven.
I feel like Imperial Guard facing up against a Wraith Knight going, oh god, it's just Imperial Guard infantry and I can't harm it.
Exactly.
Oh, back in 7th edition, man, yeah, that's exactly how it worked. It was the same thing. So 7th edition 40k, of course.
So yes, I remember him. Maybe I'll make a new Kolek. Absolutely. That's a good idea. There you go. I like it. I'll search up some previous conversions of him and draw some inspiration from that. So
I have been seeing a few on the Age of Sigmar page that I haven't been able to find the people's names of, but people will take the Star Drake,
right,
and a Bloodthirster,
okay,
and bind those kits to make a Shaggoth, and oh man, is it glorious! But their wallets I feel sorry for.
Yes, that is the thing that truly attacks. That you can't save against is your wallet. Yes, that is correct. That is a high rend value against your wallet. All right. So, Joe, Puck, you want to say a final thing about Renegade Open on the way out here?
I just hope to see you guys there, man.
Yeah. Just a reminder, pre-registration prices will end August 31st for Warhammer 40k and Age of Sigmar. For Warhammer 40k, it goes from $75 up to $90. And for Age of Sigmar, it goes up from $55 to, I think it's $65, might be $70. But that's August 31st. And
yeah, it's on the page we'll keep posting terrain updates. We've got a local guy here doing terrain that I would say pretty close to being on par with Steve Herner.
Wow.
So it's gonna be some impressive terrain. Yeah, it's gonna be some pretty impressive terrain rocking around on the table that people haven't seen before. So it's gonna be pretty nice.
Vince, are you gonna be coming to the Renegade?
Sadly, that weekend I do not think I'm going to be available, but I haven't blocked it out yet. Like, I know, just knowing where that weekend is, that is a tough weekend, because the next weekend I already have a commitment where I'll be gone for like 5 days. So if I have to ask my wife, do you mind if I go away for 2 weekends in a row for like 4 days? I might not be married anymore by Christmas time, so that makes it challenging.
Why don't you bring her?
Bring her with me? Yeah, that's.
Second largest mall in North America. Yeah.
Well, I mean, that is good. That's not nothing. That's not nothing. I'll see what I can do.
Maybe they've actually made additions. It is now the biggest mall in the world again after its recent additions.
Oh, there you go. Maybe I could like trick her to be like, hey, let's go on a nice trip, just you and I. To
I tripped into fantasy. I tripped into Warhammer.
Yeah. Oh, there's this tournament. I'm just gonna plan it over the weekend. We'll still spend plenty of time together. But who doesn't want to visit Minneapolis in November? It's the romantic Minneapolis. That's exactly. All right.
We've got good sunsets in the winter, man. We got good sunsets in the winter. I'm just saying.
Don't worry about it. It's not like you're going outside.
That's a good point. That's a good point. By the way, Drunken Deer, the answer to the question of whether I use matte or gloss varnish on my forehead before filming, the answer is neither, baby. That's all natural right there, man. That is, look at that reflection. You see how hot that is? That is all my natural, that's just natural lubricant right there. Natural skin. That's how I roll. I'm well hydrated. But Joe, Puck, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure. I appreciate you coming on. And Joe, you worked your way back. I'd love to have you back on the show sometime. You didn't beep again or have your car door beeping, so you're okay.
Awesome, yeah. Just let me know, man. I'll be back on. I'll actually get a better connection. We'll get some progress of this Zines Army. None of this half-painted bird hosts that people keep dropping on tournaments. I'm sick of this.
Joe, I think the next time that you're on, you should talk about the new format that we'll be running for the Renegade AOS. It's different than
definitely.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes.
So maybe as the tournament gets closer, we'll do like a deep dive and talk about the actual AOS game and talk about the actual games there. Sound good?
Yep. Yeah, and then the listeners will be able to look at those rules themselves in the next couple of weeks. So maybe like a week or two afterwards, I'll get back on.
We'll take a look. All right, gentlemen, I appreciate it. To all of you out there who are watching, thank you so much. We always appreciate it. And as always, we'll see you next Wednesday.
Later, guys.